It's Rob Shooter with another weekly edition of Straight Shooter, our podcast. Every week it's brand new, breaking celebrity news. None of that sloppy seconds that you hear on other people's podcasts. It's all brand new news. I'm a celebrity gossip reporter. I've done this a long time, so we have a ton of stories. Let's jump right in with one of the biggest stories of the week. Teresa and Joe finally sat down together from The Real Housewives with Andy Cohen to do an exclusive interview about their time apart when they were both in jail. We know how much money they were paid for that interview. So let me break it down. Teresa and Joe sit down with Andy Cohen and they were paid $25,000 for the interview. Joe and Teresa's big sit down. It didn't come cheap, costing the network $25,000 to appear on a special episode of Watch What Happens Live. Sources tell me, quote, there was no way Teresa and Joe were giving away that first interview for free. As far as they are concerned, they are the best things that have ever happened to Bravo, and they think of themselves as personally responsible for making the Real Housewife franchise a monster hit. Initially, the couple wanted a lot more money to do the interview, but settled on $25,000, plus Bravo are paying all the expenses, all the travel costs to get Teresa to Italy for her reunion with Joe. And of course, if they're paying, Bravo are sending their camera crew. This might seem like a lot of money because it's in addition to Teresa's salary. However, we should not forget that a few years ago, they were paid over $100,000 for a two-parter special on Andy Cohen's show. That was in 2014, before they headed to jail. And so, let me explain all. The Housewives don't get the numbers they used to get. It's still a monster hit show, but $100,000 for an interview, those days are gone. Now $25,000 is a ton of money for these interviews. The overnight ratings for the show were pretty good. They were not monumental. They were not earth-shattering. Interest in Teresa and Joe has diminished as time goes by. Nobody can be hot forever. There was a minute 4 years ago when Teresa and Joe were on the cover of Us Weekly magazine and tons of other places. Everything about this couple we wanted to know about. Now, after 4 years, it's diminished somewhat. We still love them. We still love talking about them, at least. Maybe we don't love them, but we do love talking about them. Maybe not to the same extent. If anything, Meghan, Markel, and Harry are our new Teresa and Joe. I know you're not going to like that comparison, at least as far as public interest. This is the new hot couple. Teresa and Joe, best of luck. They did meet in Italy. This is their first meeting in 4 years. And yes, Bravo camera crews were there. Of course they were. Bravo had to send their camera crews. That's going to be the basis of the next season of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. What do you think? Are you over Teresa and Joe? Do you think they'll get back together? Do you care? Let me know. Hit me up on Twitter at @NaughtyNiceRob. Meghan Markle got a job at the Today Show because of this guy. Yes, I'm talking about you, Matt Lauer. It's true. Matt Lauer got Meghan a job at the Today Show. Let me break down exactly what all the dish is here. So before meeting a British prince, Meghan appeared on the Today Show quite a few times, to promote her fashion blog, The Tig. But this would never have happened had Matt Lauer not approved it. Sources are telling me, quote, Matt pushed to get Meghan on the show, despite the broadcast already having two regular fashion correspondents who were not that happy when Meghan arrived. She got on the show. Sources add, during that period, Matt was the king of the show, and any guest or segment that he didn't like was simply gone. He ran the program with total power. If he didn't like Meghan, she would never have been booked again. But he did like her, and he liked her a lot, so much so that Matt even personally asked to be part of a cooking demonstration she did. Insiders add, quote, Matt usually doesn't want to have anything to do with the, quote, light segments on the show. He would hand them over to El Roca or Savannah or anybody else, push them back to the 9 o'clock hour or the 10 o'clock hour, Hoda and Kathy Lee, but not with Meghan. The C-list actress at the time didn't really have any fashion credentials. However, she was booked on America's #1 morning show, thanks to Matt Lauer, and there she can be seen making a Caesar salad. This made NBC staff very nervous about Matt's intentions. Now that we know about Matt Lauer, now that those stories have all been exposed, they're all out in the open, now people are wondering what else is there about Matt that we didn't know. My insiders on television tell me he was a terrible flirt. He ran the show very much with an iron fist, and now Meghan and Matt rumors are certainly bubbling up. It is true to say she wouldn't have been on the show multiple times if he hadn't enjoyed her, if he hadn't liked her. Also, too, she actually did, on the Today Show, I've seen the footage, a cooking segment with Matt Lauer. Matt hated cooking segments. He thought they were silly. It's like watching Matt do a fashion segment. It just wasn't his thing on that show. He liked to think of himself as a serious, real news guy. So the fact Matt was tossing a salad with Meghan Markle means that he approved of this. He wanted to do it. Yes, Matt Lauer had a crush on Meghan Markle. Maybe she is the one that got away. What do you think? Rock group Queen are having trouble selling out Madison Square Garden. That's right. Queen, one of the best groups of all time, are having difficulty selling tickets here in New York City. So Bohemian Rhapsody was such a big hit movie. I'm shocked that people don't want to pay money to go and see a Queen musical. However, I think what the problem is here is that the legendary Freddie Mercury is no longer with us. And without Freddie, maybe people are just not willing to hand over the money. There has been a tour of Queen and Adam Lambert filling in for the role of Freddie. They've been on the road for like a couple of years doing this, and ticket sales are great. Are people just over these biographical musicals? There's been so many of them. Jersey Boy, Carole King, there's so many of them. Maybe people are just sick of these. Would you pay $144 to go and see a bunch of actors recreate a Queen concert? I'm not sure I would. At least I know here in New York, a lot of people will not. Lindsay Lohan has been rejected from The Masked Singer. That's right, Lindsay Lohan is looking for a big American comeback. She has a new album coming out, new music, and now she's on The Masked Singer in Australia. However, she won't be doing that here in the good old USA. So let me explain what's going on here. Lindsay Lohan's big comeback in the USA has been hit with another bump after the troubled singer was rejected from the American version of the hit TV show, The Masked Singer. Sources tell me, quote, Lindsay has been one of the judges of The Masked Singer in Australia, and she assumed that the offer to have the same role here in the American version of the show would be on the table. However, that is not the case. Sources add the show in the USA is where all the money is. It's a huge hit, and producers have zero interest in messing with the winning formula. They have Robin Thicke, Jenny McCarthy, and also two other major people, Ken and Nicole, are also on that show too. They have no interest in adding Lindsay Lohan to that panel. They're not going to fire any of these stars to give Lindsay the job. Sources do add that the only way Lindsay will find herself on The Masked Singer here in the USA is if she puts on a mask. Ouch. So they'll let Lindsay come on and wear the bunny costume or whatever else, the dragon costume, whatever costume those crazy people put together. She can do that, but she cannot be a judge. Is Lindsay really in that much trouble here, career-wise in America? My sources say yes. This new album she has coming out, there was a single that was put out. It didn't get any radio play at all. It's almost gone already. She released it on her official Instagram page, and it got very, very little attention apart from that. Lindsay's going to have a tough time here. I think that she's burnt so many bridges and upset so many people here in America. Maybe focusing internationally is a good idea. I know she's been trying to get movie roles. That has not happened. Also, her TV show, her Mykonos Beach House show. Remember that? On MTV. It was meant to be a huge Kardashian-type hit, like a Vanderpump Rules, a Lisa Vanderpump type show. That already got cancelled as well. So I think Lindsay here is in a lot of trouble. However, don't feel bad. The Australian job is great. She's making a ton of money. Maybe it's time that America and Lindsay said goodbye, and the rest of the world, you get to say hello. Good luck with that. Has Jennifer Aniston's massive amount of Instagram, that's right, Instagram followers, has it upset her friends? Ooh, let me tell you all. So, Jennifer started on Instagram not that long ago, and at first it was a massive celebration that Jen had joined the social media platform, but slowly that celebration turned a little bit into jealousy as former friends started to notice how many people are actually following her. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Sources tell me, quote, nobody including Jen thought this was... Sources tell me, quote, nobody, including Jen, thought this would ever happen. She's been on social media for just a couple of weeks and has already racked up about 18 million followers. That's going to be bigger as this show goes on. So as we tape the show, it's about 18. By the time you listen to it, it could be 200 million. Who knows? People are loving following Jen. So the number's growing every single day, and pals that celebrated and welcomed her to Instagram are not quite as happy as her popularity dwarfs theirs. So just look at her co-stars of Friends and see the difference. See if you spot a slight difference here. Courtney Cox, we love her. Courtney has 5.5 million. Very nice. It ain't 18 million. It's not. Matt has 3.8 million. Very nice, Matt, but it's nowhere near Jen's. Lisa Kudrow has 3.9 million. And David Schwimmer, oh, he has the least. Poor David. He has 2.9. And Matthew Perry, he's not actually officially joined, so we can say he has 0. So, the entire cast, all put together, get your calculator out. If you add up all those numbers, they're still as a bunch not as popular as one member of the cast, and that would be Jen. Yes, and she can prove it because she has the numbers. Sources tell me it's actually a little bit humiliating and a little bit upsetting that Courtney, Matt, Lisa, and David, they've been on Instagram for years. Not for a couple of weeks, a month, for years. And still, they don't have anywhere near the numbers of Jen. Are you like this with your friends? Are you competitive? We all are a little bit. When you're on social media, you can really judge your popularity because the number's there. The numbers don't lie. The numbers exist. So if one of your friends joins social media late and blows you out of the water, admittedly, at first, you're thrilled. They're on social media. Welcome to the party, Jen. Whoever your friends are, welcome. And then they have all these followers. Remember, what made them famous was Friends. They were meant to be an ensemble cast. It was meant to not be the Jennifer show. It was a show about a bunch of friends. However, just one of those friends is wildly more popular than everybody else. This, in real life and also in Hollywood, is a combination. It's just literally a combination, a setup for disaster. Can they still all hang out next time they're out together and they take a group selfie? Do they just post it on Jen's account? Let's face it, that's the one that everybody is following. What do you think about this? Do you think the friends are right to be a little bit jealous? My sources are definitely telling me there's a little bit of friction, maybe not outright jealousy, maybe a little frustration, but I get it. I totally get what's going on here. We all want our friends to do well. We're happy you've joined Jen, but nobody, including Jen, thought she'd be quite this successful. What do you think? Let me know. You can hit me up on Twitter at Naughty Nice Rob. Selena Gomez was spotted changing her clothes between radio interviews. Let me say that one more time. Radio interviews. We can't see you, Selena. So this is what went down here in New York City. Selena Gomez, she knows how to make an entrance and also an exit. She does, changing her clothes between interviews so that fans and photographers outside the building were not disappointed. Sources tell me, quote, Selena turned up for a radio interview with several different options of clothing. Once she was inside the building, she did an interview, then she changed into a different outfit for every interview she did. And also, when she left the building, she was wearing something else. Selena arrived in a shimmering, crushed velvet teal pantsuit, and she left in a chic, stripy dress with a zebra print on it. Once again, let's remember, this is for 2 radio interviews. And sources tell me this is a move that Mariah Carey or J-Lo would make. Selena knows exactly what she's doing and is determined to make the biggest splash possible with her new music and also her new look. And let me tell you, it is working. Her single is #1. Everybody is talking about the music. Everybody is talking about her. It just goes to show you, even when you're doing radio, the visuals always matter, which reminds me, next week for the podcast, I shall wear a tuxedo. Maybe not, but I'll try to look a little bit nicer. Thank you for listening. If you've noticed, if you're a long-time listener, you might have noticed my voice is a little bit scratchy this week. I've had a cold for a couple of days. I'm feeling much better than I sound. I sound terrible, but I feel just fine, so don't feel bad for me. I didn't want to miss it. We love doing these every single week just for you, so you're welcome. We'll be back next week with a new edition of Straight Shooter, and I will be on vocal rest for the rest of the week, so I will sound just as delightful as I normally do a week from today. Thanks for listening. Tell your friends, subscribe, leave comments if you enjoy it. Don't if you do not. And remember, if you're going to be naughty, you've got to be nice. Take care, everybody.